Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Experience Exchange. We have the lovely Krista here.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, Krista is a Gemini Sun, Aquarius Moon, and Aquarius Rising. And it's so funny, true to your Gemini nature, how we met was you DM'd me to be part of Ladies That Launch, which is a women's entrepreneurial group in the Central Valley. And I'm just a bit of a skeptic when it comes to other people. So I was like, this person is too nice. But then once I learned you were a Gemini, I was like, oh, it checks out. And my defenses immediately lowered.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah, but you do so many things. You have Ladies at Launch, you have a writers group, you're a mom, and now you're starting this exciting new endeavor called The Shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've actually renamed it. Also true to my Gemini, nothing stays the same for more than 30 days in my brain. So it got renamed to Rooted to Rise.
Rooted to Rise. I love that. Such a great rebrand. But yes, you are constantly rebranding. I remember that. I was going to talk about this and I saw it was no longer there. But at one point you were connector of dots, which I love. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true to your Gemini nature. So tell us about your business, and now Rooted to Rise, because your business is now Willow something.
Wild Willow Co.
Wild Willow Co. So tell us about Wild Willow Co. yourself, and then Rooted to Rise.
Oh, it's been a journey. So I am on this path of like exploration and kind of uncovering everything I can about myself, which is a really silly thing to say because you spend all day with yourself. And I always thought there's nothing more I can learn about myself. Like I know me better than anyone. Turns out that's not true at all. And I originally started this, I called it Studio Willow. And I started this like business consultant for women. And it was like a whole thing. And it fell short of like what I wanted to do and see as an impact. And since then it's just been this like glorious rebrand and pivot and all of these things along the way. So I'm a much different person than I was 2 years ago. But I like to call myself a recovering perfectionist because nothing is ever perfect, but I'm happy that's the point.
Yes, absolutely. And I constantly say progress, not perfection. And I have to tell myself that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't think I would have started the podcast. There were so many things that weren't perfect. We have upgraded our equipment. We didn't start with video. We just started with audio. And it's just so important to start.
Yeah, if you don't start, you don't get anywhere. There's a million and one reasons why, maybe tomorrow, or maybe with this equipment, or maybe with this script, or like this logo, and then 2 years go by and you haven't done anything.
Yeah, you're always going to have an excuse as to why you shouldn't.
Yeah,
we are our own roadblocks.
Absolutely, every time, 100%, which is why it's really nice to have someone else. It doesn't matter who, a coach, a friend, someone to get you out of your own head and to just help you take that one step.
Yeah.
Which leads to another and leads to another and hopefully leads to like this life-changing path.
In terms of your role with Rooted to Rise, I would call you like a somatic healer or like a somatic life coach. What would you call yourself in that role? But that's what I think of when I think of like my experience and what I gained from it.
Thank you. I've had this really weird relationship with the word coach because I have seen it everywhere, and yet I have experienced very little of the benefit in some capacities. And so I wanted to make sure that people knew, okay, I'm a coach. I'm going to get you to where you need to be, but I'm not just going to leave you on your own or like make these beautiful workbooks that get you nowhere. And so I have since revised my idea of what the word coach can mean, but I really just want to be the person to help you remember your own truth. Because I think everyone has the capacity, but like growing up, I'm not sure what everyone's experience was, but if I was like, I don't want to hug that person, and then my parents were like, just hug the person, you forget little by little that connection to your body. And so I want to help people get back there of like, we can trust ourselves. We can trust the feelings in our body. We can trust our own intuition. And I don't want to spend a year undoing that or like unpacking that. And so I really wanted to have a short, little intensive program where you learn how to trust yourself. And it's not just staying in your head. It's like dropping into your body and coming out on the other side feeling like, okay, I haven't fixed my whole life, but I have taken the first step and I have fixed one little thing. And now I have the confidence to do it again and again and again.
Yeah. So I participated in the first cohort back when it was called The Shift. And I will say it was so impactful. It's so funny what you said about seeing coaches, but then never really experiencing them. Like everyone's a coach, but they're nowhere to be found, or like we don't see their impact. Some of that I speculate is because of Jupiter and Gemini this last year. So Jupiter is in a sign for more or less a year. And when it's in Gemini, there's an abundance of communication and teaching. That's why we have seen, as we talked about in our Luck and Abundance episode, a multitude of social media platforms created in the last year. Like all of a sudden we had Blue Sky, Threads, supposedly the Neptune app, but then it like failed to start. And so many others, the Red Book, the Chinese one, like TikTok starting and stopping. So yeah, we had an abundance of social media platforms, and likewise an abundance of people like offering to be coaches or offering courses, very Gemini coded, like the teacher speaking, etc. So it's funny that you say that, and it aligns with the astrological timing.
Yes. I'm cool.
Yes. But I will say that you definitely, at least I will shout you from the rooftop that like your program really works. My second point with that is that in, just magic working, we say like as above, so below. There's even that like in a birth chart, like a part that deals with the tangible and then like the intangible. And sometimes our biggest roadblock is not like a curse or a transit. It's ourselves being too heady and not connecting with our bodies.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. A lot of my readings recently with clients, it's been a repeating theme of like, you need to heal your body to heal yourself. And then like everything else will unlock. And I'm guilty of that. I am so guilty of that. Yes. Yes. So I love that your program teaches to come back to our bodies and sense like, what are we really feeling? Like, let's not intellectualize the feeling.
Yeah.
Because we could do that, but like, let's feel the feeling.
I mean, it's for anybody who's ever like been in a bad mood and thought, okay, I'm going to get out of this bad mood by like logicking my way out of it. And that never works. Sometimes you can push it for another day, or sometimes you can like, I don't know, almost try and break through, but you've got to check in with your body. Have you done all the necessary things? Are you hungry? Do you need to sleep? Have you made a bid for connection with someone whose connection matters? And if you've gone through that whole step, I'm just a firm believer that your body is trying to tell you something. And the more you ignore it, the more that you create this bridge or whatever, this gap between your body and yourself. And it's a shame because your body carries so much knowledge. And if you ignore it, you're just ignoring this like vastly rich part of yourself. And no one should be ignoring themselves, much less other people.
And I truly believe that like somatic work is a part of shadow work. It's that like thing that you need to do that you don't want to do, especially if you are very like logical, very in your head, and also a trauma survivor, because it can be scary to like go back into your body. And I'm going to be honest, I'm a tough nut to crack. Like I did not think that I was going to cry, but for me, crying is healing. Like it's releasing. So for me, crying is good. But like, I did cry 2 out of 4 sessions, and I felt like super safe and supported. And that makes me think though, like, who supported you when you went through this journey of like getting back into your body? Because it should be so intuitive, but it's not.
No.
It's so socially conditioned, like out of you, like whether it's go to work, even though you're sick, just push through. Like you said, when you're a child, just hug that creepy uncle you don't want to hug. Like so many things in society push the mind and the body away.
Oh, that's a good question. So I really started this 2 years ago, and it was me. I mean, on paper, everything looked great. I had just had a baby. I was postpartum. I was in a relationship with this amazing person. He's still amazing. And I had this job that looked really good. Everything looked good. And every day I woke up and I had this tightness in my chest. Like I would be driving everyone to daycare and I'd be on my way to start my morning meeting. And I'm just like, having anxiety, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And so I did what I always did, was like, I thought through everything, and I got a therapist, and he tried his best, but he also stayed right at the surface level, and nothing was working. I was just like spiraling out of control, and I kept having this feeling of like, I just need to dance. I just need to go out and dance. And like, I don't dance. I'm an awful dancer, but that just kept coming up. And like, looking back, it was my body's need to just like move, just like get out all of the anxiety, all of the bad feelings, and just move. And so finally it came to this place where I couldn't take it anymore. I felt so out of control. But if you looked at my life, I was hyper controlled. Like dinner was on the table at 5:30, and like kids were always dropped off. And so it was this such a weird juxtaposition of like what was in my mind versus what I was feeling versus what was like presented. And my poor husband was just like, he was doing the best he could, but I didn't know what was wrong. I couldn't clarify to him what was wrong. And so eventually I got a therapist that figured it out. And she had me do, this was the first thing that she did. And we spoke through everything. And I hadn't cried through therapy. Not a single time, because I sat in my brain. And like the moment I started tapping, I started crying. And I've cried every session with her ever since, because it's the same. It's this beautiful healing process. And so that like, it was a light bulb moment of, oh, my body. I have not thought and cared for my body this whole time. And so after that, I really started talking to my therapist of like, okay, I'm thinking too much. What do I do with my body? And then I was able to like communicate that with my husband of like, I need a hug. I need to feel secure. I need to ask for all of these things that have nothing to do with like, you know, my head, or like making sure the kids are okay. The kids are fine, but they're not going to be fine if like mom is crazy and sad and like not a present parent. So yeah, I really had my therapist first, my husband second, and the rest of my family eventually, when it felt safe for me to acknowledge what was going on, they were there. But it took a long time for me to even know something was going on. And that's kind of the scary part, is like you live for so long not feeling happy that you don't even realize that something's there.
Survival mode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that is so powerful. And through you, I realized like doing the body scan and just like, where is this feeling that I hold so much in my chest? And when I'm stressed, like my shoulders roll over. Yeah. And then when I feel relaxed, they're like back and I'm like upright. Almost, because I'm a Leo, I think of like a sunflower, how like a sunflower is like droopy. And then when it's in the sun, it's like, oh.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah. So it just like a 4-week session just like opened my mind to so many things where I'm like, wow, I need to get back in touch with my body. Like, where are these feelings coming from? And I've just identified like so much in a short amount of time.
That's the beauty of it, is like you always knew that. You just needed to listen to your body. I'm just here to hold the space and start the conversation. But ultimately, it's going to be between you, your head, and your body. And that's why it doesn't need to be this like year-long exploration. That is needed for some areas. But for me, I just want to open this conversation for everything about that person, and then they could take it from there.
Yeah. I also love that you're responsible and you say like, I am not a therapist. Like, I cannot unpack like extreme trauma with you, and how you like make space for the heaviness, but you know your limitations and your scope as well. So who would you say Rooted to Rise is for? And yeah, who is it for? Who's the ideal participant?
I love the idea of someone who has sat there and thought, I want more. And kind of going back to that, like, maybe something's wrong, but it's not this, like, the world is not on fire, but something just doesn't feel fun anymore. And they're looking for that feeling to, like, wake up and feel like themselves and be excited. Because I think sometimes we lose that. And so I want that person to be ready to hear themselves and feel themselves. And that can look like a lot of different people. Maybe that's someone who's like, all of their kids just left home And now they get the time to like really think about who they are. Or maybe that's someone postpartum who's like, whoa, my life just exploded and it looks different. Who am I again? I have no idea. So anybody who's ready to meet themselves and get introduced to themselves again. I love that of like, this is your homecoming to yourself.
That's so powerful, especially for parents, regardless of gender. Like when you have a little human that you're responsible for, you just become like so-and-so's mom, so-and-so's dad, so-and-so's parent. And like I saw my own mother struggle with this where like when I left, she just was like, who am I? Like I was so used to being so-and-so's mom, you know? So I love that you're doing that for people and helping them remember like who they are. And even if you don't have kids, you're the coworker, you're the partner, you're the whatever, but you forget to be yourself. And I found that with like my personal journey, I've been like, who am I actually outside of all of these roles?
Yeah. I remember there was a work party, this is probably 5 years ago. You could see how like it's still here. And there was maybe Secret Santa, where you get someone's name and they pick a gift for you, and then it's like,
Secret Santa.
Okay, thank you. So it was the Secret Santa, and I watched everybody get like really cute things about their personality, like, I don't know, something clearly targeted, like someone took the time, and I got a onesie for my baby. And I was like, but that person only saw me as, you know, a new mom. And I felt so sad because like in my head, I had this vibrant personality, but on the outside, that was just someone's mom. And I'm so proud to be their mom, but I'm also so much more.
Absolutely.
So that was one of those moments where I was like, oh, who am I?
Yeah, I know that with like acquaintances that are new moms, I really try to avoid like asking about their baby too much because I remember like they're human too.
Yeah.
And I think that they appreciate it.
I bet they do.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, what an amazing journey that you've had. And when are you opening up spots for people to join?
My ideal is in July.
Okay.
And there's a wait list right now. And so when I get the appropriate amount of people who can all meet around the same time, then it's open. We'll start the second cohort because you guys were the first. I'm so grateful for you.
Yeah. Wait listed already, booked and busy. I love it. And they're going to be virtual, right?
They're all going to be virtual because as much as I love doing things in person, I don't want that to be a blocker because you know, we've made dinner. It's the end of the day. Maybe some of us have worked a full day, whatever. We can all just be in our cozy PJs if that's what we need. The space will be held, but not in person.
Yeah, that's so amazing. And you also do a lot of great follow-up. Like you don't just leave people with their feelings. You also like send follow-up emails and check in on people like, how are you doing? I know that was heavy. So yeah, you are so caring. And I'm so glad that you went through that journey. I really feel like people that have been through it make for better like healers, counselors, coaches, whatever you want to call them. So
it was such a journey, and the whole time I was thinking, why me? But also, maybe it's not the end of the world, but I don't want to do it. I've always had this desire of like, my life could just be perfect and I don't have to struggle. So yeah, maybe there was a reason for that.
Do you think that people can ever get to a point where they master their own body? Like they learn everything about themselves and that's it? Or do you think it's a lifelong process?
It's a lifelong process because the moment that you have learned everything, something is going to change. For women, our cycles are on this like, you know, we have a cycle and then perimenopause happens and menopause happens or like life in general happens. Maybe you have a baby, maybe you don't. But I think there's always change. And something that I now realize, the point is not to avoid struggle. The point is to figure out what you need to do for yourself. When the struggle happens, you know what to do and you don't fall apart. You think, ooh, buckle up. This is going to be hard, but I'm ready. And like, I have my support system or I know what to do. I know the tools that I need so that this is a struggle, but it's not the end of me.
Yeah, being resilient, because life is never going to be perfect.
Nope.
It's going to come in waves, come in transits. And yeah, the point is to be able to handle all of those fluctuations. So I absolutely agree. I am excited. Something different that we're going to do in this Mystic Maintenance is do a business birth chart reading.
I'm so pumped.
I am so excited. So we are going to cover that after this break. Today's episode is brought to you by us, Kythera Collective. If you've been vibing with the energy of the show, then you're going to love the Kythera Club over on Patreon. It's a space that I built for the cosmic, the curious, and the slightly chaotic. You know who you are. With 3 delicious tiers to choose from, we start with the chocolate level at $4 a month, which gains you access to weekly horoscopes and the exclusive Unhinged podcast, where I say things that don't make it to this main feed. It's sweet, it's spicy, and it's just for you. Next, we have the cafe level at $7 a month. This is where things really start to get cooking. You'll receive access to exclusive workshops, monthly virtual hangouts, and a private Discord community where you can chat directly with me and receive exclusive behind the scenes updates. It's magical, cozy, and a little unhinged in the best way. Finally, we have the tequila level. This is the VIP lounge. At $25 a month, you'll receive everything from the previous tiers, plus a personal 15-minute one-on-one session with myself or David each month, and discounts if you want to extend the session. It's a whole vibe and a powerful way to receive personalized guidance. So if you've been laughing along with us, crying or rage screaming in agreement, come hang out with us at the Kythera Club. Head over to patreon.com/JenCalo and choose your tier. If you want to sponsor an episode and advertise with us, go to our website, www.jencalo.com. All right, now back to the show. Welcome back to Experience Exchange. So I'm excited to go through your business birth chart. So you found this pivot on your birthday, right?
I did. Yep.
I love that. So your business birth chart is your chart for this last birthday. That's so cool.
Yes.
So based on the time when you had this epiphany, which most likely was when you were winding down and things like that. So we're going to say 7 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
It has a lot of similarities to your birth characteristics with the Gemini sun and then a Gemini moon. So the joy and the emotion are there. They're twinning. And then a Scorpio rising. So what does that mean in terms of a business? So with Scorpio rising, your point of view or your ideal audience are the people that want to go deeper. Mm-hmm. Because Scorpio is a very deep, intuitive water sign, and it can get a little dark sometimes because sometimes somatic healing or body work is not always pleasant. Yeah, usually when we have this disconnect from our bodies, it's because something happened to us, whether it's little t trauma or big T trauma.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so that is sort of like the lens from which you're approaching it. However, with the Gemini sun and moon only 1 degree apart, and then Mercury also there. So your business has a Gemini stellium, meaning that 3+ planets are within 10 degrees of each other in the same sign. So I love that. So you can bring joy and really a spotlight, because what bigger spotlight than both the sun and the moon, illuminating like what's going on and putting a name to these emotions and these experiences. And then under the sign of Gemini, which is a communicator, a healer, a connector of dots.
I love the idea of putting a name to something, because that's what I struggled with. And I feel like I have a good vocabulary, but when it came to my emotions, it would be, am I happy, mad, or sad? And you can't, yeah, that was it. And you can't have this like vibrant connection even to your own intellect, much less your body, if you're just sitting with like three emotions. So being able to really name, okay, I am feeling frustrated. I am in despair. I'm just hungry. There's a whole nuance there that makes such a difference.
And then also that day, Saturn was at 0 degrees Aries. So zero degrees is so interesting because it's like when things combust, when they start sort of like that big bang. And Saturn is a planet of like business, discipline, boundaries. So this is sort of a bold enterprise that you're undergoing because, yeah, it's not for the faint of heart and it's a little bit different, but so are a lot of these, healing modalities.
If you would have known me 5 years ago to say this business is different for me, it would be understatement of the year, because I think I have always, in my last like 18 years of careering, the thing I got praised for was I'm very logical. I can do anything with a clear mind. Like exactly everything that I'm talking what not to do is I sit in this like decisive but not over emotional place. And so I would be shocked if anyone could recognize me now versus the person that I was then. So I love that.
And then your Mars is also in Leo. So Mars is the planet of execution, manifestation, really like putting energy behind something. And in Leo, it's really showcasing yourself as a leader and like, I know what it's like to do this because I have been there. I have put in the work. And so now let me show you through me how to get through this. And it's really coaching energy. And then Leo, the lion, very like protective of their pack and very loyal. And you are very, very loyal to your clients.
Thank you. I think that was one of the biggest things that I had to get over for myself is I have to be seen. I can't be a coach and shy away from my own journey or shy away from like just showing up. And that's hard because a lot of the times I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like not only do I have to be vulnerable, but who's going to want to hear from me? No one cares. And so just showing up and doing it day after day, whether that's like social media or talking to people, that was a big one. It was a big lesson in itself.
I love that it's also making a trine, which is about 120 degrees away and a helping relationship to Venus and Chiron in Aries, which are close enough that we can call them conjunct. They're only a few degrees away. So through like your leadership, through being seen, you can bring, a lot of love to the healing journey because we have Venus, planet of love, and then Chiron, the asteroid of the wounded healer. Yeah.
I don't want anybody to ever look at me and think, oh, she's perfect. I want to be like her. That's not my jam. If I could have it my way, I would want someone to look at me and think, oh, look at her. She's doing something. And like, that's cool. I want to do something totally different, but like she did it so I can do it.
Yeah.
That's the energy I want to hold.
Absolutely. I love that. And you also have an asteroid, a geometric point in the sky called the Black Moon Lilith, which is like the darkest side of the moon, but also what makes us sort of like attractive. So you have that in the 12th house of your business chart in Scorpio, which what is going to be attractive when you market yourself is like, I have been there. Like, I know what it's like to hit sort of like that anxiety rock bottom. Like, I know what it's like to crash out and spiral and cry and feel like you're going crazy. And while I can't save you, I can show you how to build your own ladder out of this pit.
Oh my gosh. I remember, so I had another corporate job before this current one. And I think there was a day very close to me quitting. I think it was like 10 a.m. I had already cried 3 different times. And like each time I'd like, dry my tears and like get ready for my next meeting. And then eventually I was like, this is bonkers. What am I doing? Why am I crying? And like, I just couldn't control it. Like every time I would get triggered by something, or maybe I wasn't walking, I didn't see the sun. And yeah, it was wounded to say the least.
But yeah, I love all of this in your chart. And then finally, one of the bigger things that we have is the North Node in Pisces. So even though, yes, there are like tangible skills that you can teach people, part of what's going to make you a great coach is also listening to your intuition as to like what someone may need. And I love the gentle, like, man, make a suggestion. You always say that, because sometimes people are like, no, I just need a vent. Don't tell me what to do. And sometimes it's like, yeah, please tell me, what are you feeling? Like, I would love any wisdom right now.
I'm just really careful, because sometimes you don't want a suggestion, and sometimes you do want a suggestion, but the moment you hear it as like an attack, or maybe you're not doing enough. So I always want to preface it like, hey, I'm going to give you advice. Are you ready in a place to hear it? And if you're not, cool. I will save that for later. I don't need to tell you right now. It's all about the other person and not my ability to give advice. So, yeah.
Is it still going to be a 4-week course, or are you extending
I kept it at 4 weeks.
Okay. I love that it's 4 weeks, because that also follows a lunar cycle, and the moon is our emotion. So 4-week course, 7 times 4 is 28 days. That's roughly about how long a lunar cycle is. So for the moon to return to a certain point. So I love that astrologically as well. I think that's the perfect amount of time for people, especially because you're not doing like this super duper intensive thing.
Right.
You're focusing on the baby steps.
Yes. And I think that you can get so much momentum in 4 weeks. 2 weeks is really short. You might not see the benefits. And like anything more than 4 weeks, if you have a busy life, maybe you can't commit to it and it's scarier. But 4 weeks, you can push through it, you can figure it out. And then at the end, it's this aha moment of, oh, in 4 weeks, look how much I did. What would it look like if I continued this for another 4 weeks? And like by the end of the year, you are a million times a different person than you were at the beginning. And all it takes is 4-week chunks to get you to where you want to be.
If someone wanted to take the course again, like if they got a lot out of the first one and they're like, I want to repeat this again, would they be able to, or is it just, nope, one time, that's it, you're done?
Everything is different, because your life is always different. So like, absolutely, come and do it again. And something that always changes is like, not only is your life different, but maybe the women who you're with are different. And so it's a different energy. Maybe this next group is going to be focusing on something else, and you get a lot of value from just hearing their conversations or hearing their struggle, or like even as simple as like meeting new people. So yeah, everything in life is like this cyclical, it flows. If you want to do it again, do it again.
And is this space, I'm totally blinking, only for women, or are you open to people of all backgrounds?
I have kept it only for women for now, with the idea to expand. But what I'm always cautious with is, my first instinct is to like, it's for everyone who needs it. And then I feel like it kind of gets lost. A little bit of that magic gets lost. So we're keeping it with women for now. But for men or anyone who just doesn't want to do it for 4 weeks, I have done a tiny little challenge. And it's just an email. You get it once a day in the morning for 5 days. And it takes you through like a hyper-focused, tiny little challenge. And you get to do kind of the same thing of, let's identify it. Let's move through it. Let's feel it in your body. And so that one, open anyone.
I love that. And even though I am a proponent of like, you know, gender roles need to be eliminated and things like that, I think there is something healing about having a shared space of people that are seen as women and treated as women by society, because we have a shared experience in that.
Yeah, there's a softness that we can bring to each other of just allowing ourselves to be and be seen. That might get, I don't know, be concerned or get lost if we invite for too big of a group or for too diverse of a gender background.
What are the cohorts going to be capped at? Have you thought of that yet?
I think 5. After 5, it becomes a little bit more of like, can I give everyone the attention that everyone deserves? I think 5 is where I want to stay at.
Yeah, and they're 1 hour still, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so 1 hour for 4 weeks in a cohort of 5. I love that. That sounds like a great amount of people.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting that you already have a wait list for the next cohort.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's been such a magical process and also just terrifying, but I'm doing it. And I think that's the part of like practicing what you preach is I'm scared, but I'm still taking those little steps too.
What are you doing to sort of like refill your cup, refresh your energy while hosting like so many groups, because you have this, you have ladies at launch, you have a lot, you're a mom, you also have like a day job.
Yeah, that's a good question. Is every morning and every evening I check in with myself and I do a morning and an evening reflection, and I'm like, okay, how am I feeling today? What's my energy like at the beginning of the day? What word or intention do I want to carry with me? And at the end, I kind of reevaluate that. It's like, how did I show up? Was it good? Was it an off day? And just recently, I just had a day, like nothing was going right. And it was not beautiful, but I was able to sit there and think, okay, we're just going to call it a day. Like, what do I need to do to figure myself out? I'm going to, again, go through the steps. Am I thirsty? Am I hungry? And I eventually talked to my husband. I was like, this day sucks. I'm going to go take a bath. And like, I'm going to do whatever I need to do, and let me know if you need me, but otherwise you're on. And he's like, great, yeah, go do that. Because he doesn't want me miserable either.
Yeah.
And so going through that made me realize, oh, okay, I feel better. I needed to spend time with me. That's okay.
A tough lesson that I've learned recently is like, if you keep neglecting yourself, you think like, oh, it's fine, I'll prioritize everybody else or everything else. You then end up like taking out on the people around you because you are so grouchy, because you aren't taking care of yourself. So to take care of yourself is to take care of other people in the end. It's a ripple effect.
Oh my gosh, nothing could be more true. And I remember I was cooking in the kitchen. This was probably 2 or 3 years ago. 2 years ago, I was cooking. I was like cooking every night, and I was so grouchy. I was like, putting things away and kind of like slamming, not closing the doors very thoughtfully of the cupboards. And I saw my husband, he like gently ushered my kid into a different room because I was so grouchy, and I was like, ooh, oh, that didn't feel good. And it really stuck with me of, what am I teaching my son? And so after that, I started thinking, okay, small things. Like, I'm going to play some cheerful music when I cook. And then that led to like, I'm going to have a kitchen dance party. And all of a sudden, making dinner wasn't this huge thing where I was like, everything sucks. It was like, oh, it's time for a kitchen dance party. And the vibe of the house changed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Small things. Just put on music. And
Yeah.
you hear it and you're like, that's stupid. But it isn't until you try it.
I also love a tip that you gave me is like high five yourself in the mirror. Yeah. That is so cute. And it's the little things that like maybe seem silly or dumb that are really going to stick.
Right. And we have to get out of our own way of like, oh, I can't do that. Like, someone's going to judge me. Who cares? And like, also probably people are so busy thinking about that about themselves that they're not going to notice it.
Yeah. Spotlight effect.
Yeah.
Yeah. You think more people are noticing than they actually are.
So now on the way to daycare, I'm like, I'm doing everything that I promised myself I would never. We're listening to kids' music. It's obnoxious. I think we played the Bluey theme song 5 times in a row. Was it a little annoying? Kind of. But like, if you just start silly dancing to it, again, the mood changes and your kids respond. And if it's going to drive you insane, maybe find a compromise. But I'm the fun mom that I wanted to be. And it's because I'm the fun person that I wanted to be. And I'm not just a mom. And so be silly. Have fun.
I love that. Is there anything, you do a lot of like somatic work. I see that like you really walk the talk, but do you do any sort of like energy work, any like spiritual things that really like add to and fill your cup?
Such a good question. And this was like a year-long sad point for me because I took a Reiki class of like energy, healing energy. Everyone else in the course was like, I see auras, or, I get these beautiful insights, or like I can lay my hands on someone and intuitively know stuff. And I was like, I don't feel shit. Everyone else is like having these moments and I'm like, I don't know, is it working? And so I felt so disconnected from not a spiritual community, but like a healing community. And I kept thinking, maybe this isn't for me. And it made me so sad. And something that I had to realize along the way is it's going to look different from everyone. And so love Reiki, but it's not my first modality because it hasn't just been something that I've intuitively connected with. So for me, everything has been about embodiment. And I think if I really sit with that, that's going to be my superpower, because there's going to be women who are like, whoa, that is one woo too far. And that's okay, because we can sit here and say, all right, energy work aside, like, what's your body doing? Everyone has a body.
Everybody has a body.
So what I'd like to think is my year-long sadness of not being able to see auras or see dead people or whatever that looks like. I would like to think it's going to be my superpower in the end.
I think so. It kind of reminds me of like that trope of like everyone has superpowers except for like the one person who's normal, therefore like that's what makes them special. But you're mastering like the thing that we all want to avoid, and the thing that we can all also do but need a little coaching on, which is connecting to yourself.
Yeah.
So I would love for people to know, like, how they can stay up in touch, any upcoming things that you want to promote, whether it's Rooted to Rise or anything else.
I would love for people, I am the most active on Instagram, and I just changed my handle.
I will have it listed in the show notes, whatever it is, by the time this episode comes out.
Thank you so much. It might change again, who knows. But I also have a website where you can also find my Instagram, and it's Krista-Luna.com. If you Google my name, just as a fair warning, if you find a Krista-Luna-author, not me, but give her a look up. She's a trip. But yeah, just Krista-Luna.com, and you will find the real me.
What does the author write again? Like fairy smut or something?
Fairies and orcs and pirates and aliens, and there has been a lot of lessons that I didn't even know were possible with your anatomy, but it's there.
I'm gonna like both Krista Lunas, all right.
She seems like a good time, but I never get to see her face, so I don't know what she looks like. You can't prove it's not me, which is why I like to be very clear it's not me.
All right, awesome. Yes, I will have it listed in the show notes so people can find you. Yeah, and thank you so much for coming on Experience Exchange. Again, I am a big proponent. I have gone through the 4-week course, and I really do think it is so magical to just get in touch with your body again, one baby step at a time. So yeah, please reach out if this resonated, but otherwise we hope you had fun, and thank you so much. See you next time. Bye.
See ya.